Welcome back to Buy or Sell, the series where you pitch me your predictions for the theme park world, and I either buy or sell them and explain why. If you want your idea considered for the next video, leave a comment below, starting with buy or sell. In this episode, we look at Intamin and if they can break back into the Cedar Fair chain, what Top Thrill 2 means for the rest of the industry, and if the best coaster in California is currently in production for 2025. This is Buy or Sell, episode 21. Let's start with Sir NC the Ray. Michigan's Adventure gets a B&M within 4 years. First it was Worlds of Fun. Now we know that Dorney Park is getting a very nice looking B&M dive. So everyone who likes Valley Fair and Michigan's Adventure had their ears perk up, seeing Cedar Fair paying attention to the more neglected parks and thinking they might be next. Michigan's Adventure is the most abused, but there is reason to have hope. When it comes to B&M, I'm selling that. If Michigan's Adventure gets a new coaster, and that is a big if, think something smaller. Kings Island is getting a Vekoma family boomerang. That's something that's right in Michigan's Adventure's wheelhouse. If you want something with more thrill, if Cedar Fair likes Samperla, maybe we see one of their double heart coasters. This is like a Skyrocket 2, just different. These seem way more likely than a B&M. Fry Guy 909. At some point, someone will build a new park in New York State as a major destination. New York State has a ton of people to draw from, but that market is very saturated. The state as a whole is lacking a really great park. But around it, you have Six Flags New England, Great Adventure, Hershey Park, Knoebels, Dorney, so there doesn't seem to be a big demand there. Someone may be looking for a place to build a major destination, just like we saw with American Heartland in Northeast Oklahoma, but I'm still selling anything like that coming to the state of New York. It seems like there are so many better options down south. Places with better weather, places with cheaper land. There are lots of cities that are growing in southern warm weather climates. If I was a rich fat cat and wanted to blow a couple $1 billion building a new park, that's where I would look. Marcus Sorensen 3380. Cedar Fair will continue to never work with Intamin forever, but other park chains like Six Flags will work with them again. Well, since this question was posted, Six Flags announced that Over Georgia is getting the first Intamin Ultra Surf. This looks the same as the Ultra Splash that they introduced 3 years ago, so that's interesting. Six Flags working with Intamin for the first time since, Zumanjaro back in 2014? I don't think Six Flags ever had a beef with Intamin. They were just looking for cheaper options, and we've been seeing that over the last 12 years. They got a Zaxpin. They got 2 drop towers on existing Intamin structures. And now they got this, which doesn't look like it's gonna break the bank. Cedar Fair has the money. They just don't like Intamin. Choosing Samperla to work on Top Thrill 2 is very interesting, and possibly very telling. Still, I'm selling this. New Intamin seems better, more reliable, and just like Vekoma fell out of favor, but came back and proved themselves worthy. I think Intamin will work their way back into Cedar Fair's circle of trust, and not too long from now, we will see a new Intamin coaster show up somewhere. Grouchyberry 7279. Within the next 15 years, Skyrush will get new trains. Skyrush just turned 11, and in that time, they've had to make adjustments. They even designed a way to pop the lap bar once the train is on the brakes. Hershey Park even built a whole new hyper that people actually enjoy riding. I really want to buy this, and since it's my channel, I'm going to. That being said, I have concerns. Skyrush is a weird coaster. It's got those 4 across wing seats, so it may be hard to slap a new train on there the way that B&M could exchange a stand-up train for a Florida's train. Also, Skyrush has some extreme forces, and maybe no other existing restraint is designed for that intensity or that airtime. I do think that Hershey Park will explore their options, especially if ridership falls off, and it may require Intamin to design a whole new train that we haven't seen yet. Zalazar Biggins. Cedar Point will get a Vekoma Flyer or a Mach spinning coaster as their next big coaster edition. I love both these options. They're great fits. Cedar Point doesn't have that many gaps, but they can really use a flying coaster and a spinning coaster. Yes, I know that Wild Mouse does spin, but Cedar Point always likes to go big, and a coaster like Ride to Happiness would be absolutely huge for that park. I do hope I'm wrong on this, but I'm selling it. If you made me bet on Cedar Point's next big addition, I would say they're getting a GCI, something in the 140-foot range, around 4,000 feet of track, for sure, with Titan track and inversions. They might possibly get 2 and have them dual. This would work somewhere over in Frontier Town, maybe in place of Cedar Creek Mine Ride. Maybe it crosses the train tracks in the lake, maybe not. There are so many good options, but I think this is the one I'm betting on. Seabass 14. Hollywood Drift will be better than Pantheon and Velocicoaster. For those of you who don't know, Universal Hollywood confirmed that they're adding a Fast and Furious themed coaster called Hollywood Drift, and apparently it's gonna have spinny cars, probably to simulate drifting, so they would turn as you go around a curve. To me, that sounds amazing, something we've never seen on any coaster before, but what about the rest of the ride? Check out this layout from parkfans.net, showing how much this is gonna sprawl all over the middle of the park, taking place on that hill dividing the park in two. Also, credit to Amusement Insider for this amazing animation. You can see the concept riding up and down the side of the big hill. And if we learn anything from Universal, they go big when it comes to new coasters. Maybe this will be different, but I'm willing to buy that it could be better than Velocicoaster and Pantheon. If it has all the launches and inversions, plus that drifting element, it could be the best coaster in California. Currently, that title is up for debate. I have it as Twisted Colossus. Others would say X2, maybe Ghost Rider. I don't know what else people may consider, but I currently have Velocicoaster ranked above all of them. If this is better than Velocicoaster, then yeah, it's gonna be the best coaster in California. I'm a bit concerned about space. They don't have a ton to work with. Plus, the terrain is tough to build on, so maybe this will have a weird layout, or it'll be kinda short, but I'm putting my trust in Universal to get this done. The Coaster Adventure. Top Thrill's record-breaking spike and Falcon's flight at Six Flags Qiddiya will spark another coaster war in the next decade. First off, you can disregard Top Thrill's spike. I don't think that means anything when it comes to a coaster war. It could be significant as a way to fix other coasters that have the same problem, but that's about it. Now, Falcon's flight is a different story. When this was announced a few years ago, everyone laughed. This would never get built, right? We see all kinds of plans come and go. It happens every year. Well, this coaster is actually being built, and even if it doesn't look like the animation, they're still saying it's gonna set every world record out there. That being said, I'm selling this. I don't think Six Flags Qiddiya is a good indicator. That park and Falcon's Flight are being built with a lot of oil money, and that doesn't translate to parks in the rest of the world. Those parks are more measured with their investments, going for rides that will maximize the return on investment, and I think that's how it will continue. They'll keep trying to one-up each other on their made-up records. The world's tallest dive, or world's tallest single rail. Unless the financial backers of Energylandia want to go to war with the fat stacks of cash in Saudi Arabia or the UAE, I wouldn't expect a coaster war like we had in the early 90s or the early 2000s. Ethan Barnett, 1788. If Top Thrill 2 is successful, Cedar Fair will use Zamperla as their go-to launch company over Mach. Zamperla and Cedar Fair. I didn't see this marriage happening, but now that it's here, I can see it working. I'm buying this. Zamperla's coaster catalog has never been that impressive. They focus on family coasters, and when they go more extreme, they're very compact. When it comes to launch coasters, they've made a few moto coasters, but I can't see Cedar Fair buying one of those at this point. That being said, Zamperla is on their way up. I already mentioned Michigan's Adventure. Something like a Double Heart is a great addition for one of their smaller parks. Kings Island and Canada's Wonderland can use a multi-launch inverting coaster. That's something Mach rides can provide. Vekoma can also do it. But how about Zamperla's new Lightning launch? This would fit right in. I don't know the price of all these models, but I know Mach rides isn't cheap, and maybe Zamperla offers a better deal. They're stepping up their game, and Cedar Fair is giving them their chance to prove themselves. Alex Mills, 9223. If Top Thrill 2 is successful, Great Adventure will give the same treatment to King Ka. I haven't heard King Ka having the same problems as Top Thrill Dragster, but I'm sure it's not easy to maintain. Until Falcon's Flight opens, this is still the world's tallest coaster, so I imagine if push comes to shove, Six Flags will want to save the coaster, so I'm buying this. It doesn't look like Dragster needed that much space behind the station for the spike, and that's good for King Ka because Green Lantern's turn to the mid-course is right in the way. Six Flags will probably be looking on as a very interested bystander, checking out how Top Thrill 2 is received, how reliable it is, and sometime down the line, sooner or later, King Ka gets the same treatment. Tuck, 5653. Adventureland will make a monster-level coaster investment before 2030. Monster probably wasn't a tremendously expensive investment, but it did put this place on the map. Since then, under their old ownership, they got a Maurer spinner and an S&S free spin. These are nice filler coasters, but everyone wants to know when they're getting their next headliner. I thought when Palace Parks bought the place in 2021, that was a bad sign. The investments were coming fast and furious beforehand, but then we see a brand new coaster open in 2023, Flying Viking. That gives me hope, so I'm buying this. 7 years is a long time. The park is still growing unless Palace pulls the plug. Lost Island doesn't seem to be poaching any of their business as of now, but that might change later, and that'll be more incentive to add something new. Something like a Vekoma Top Gun would be really cool here. A compact launch coaster that has inversions. This park could also use a Chance Rides Hyper GTX if they want to go the airtime route. If they want to get ambitious, maybe a small-scale B&M wing, maybe an SNS axis. Lots of extreme compact options for Adventureland. Zach Roberts, 8200. We won't see many B&M surf coasters. I've addressed this before, but now I have to come back to it. I thought the surf concept wouldn't really work out, but everyone who's ridden it absolutely raves about the seats. The way they move up and down offers a whole new ride experience, and it gives these parks a gimmick they can market. In the end, that's what it's all about. I'm selling this. I think parks will see the reception that Pipeline is getting. The ones that work with B&M and can't afford them will be interested. And over the next 10 years, I can see maybe 8 or 10 of them pop up all over the world. I thought the surf coaster was going to be more like an Intamin Blitz, or a mock multi-launch. More about the launches and elements than anything. And they would eventually change to sit-down trains. Now I know, the layout is catered to the surf trains. The elements are designed to make the seats do what they do. So I have to admit, when I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I think the surf coaster, as it is, has a future. Niet Davy. A country that doesn't really have good coasters yet will become one of the best countries for coasters in 2035. If you look at the past couple decades, we've seen other countries do this. Look at Poland, look at the UAE. They were nothing 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Now they have a really good collection. History repeats itself, so I'm buying this. If you ask me what country is going to rise up and become a coaster powerhouse, the one that stands out is Saudi Arabia. We know that Six Flags Qiddiya is in motion, Falcon's Flight is already being built, and now apparently they're getting the first SNS access coaster. If these projects actually materialize, they may bring in more tourists, and that may spark more growth in the country. I don't have any other country in mind. Vietnam seems to be on the upswing, but if you have any other ideas, let me know in the comments below. That's a wrap on episode 21. Let me know what you think of any of these topics, if you agree or disagree, and why. Also, don't forget, if you want your idea considered for the next video, leave it in the comments below, starting with buy or sell. Before you go, don't forget to drop a like, and if you're new here and love coasters, please give me a sub. I have a playlist with all of the buy or sell episodes. Also, check out my links below for my Discord server, and my second channel where I post copyright-free off-ride footage, and my baseball channel if you also happen to be a baseball fan. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.